Hitman is a film that I had been hearing a lot about since it got announced to the time it got premiered in the Venice Film Festival. I kept hearing these great things about the film. For a long time, this was the only picture that I had seen of the film. I had not read the synopsis, I had
What the
not read
dog doing?
anything plot related. All I knew was Glen Powell starring in Richard Linklater Hitman movie. My expectations for the film were that it's gonna be like David Fincher's The Killer, but better. Which it was nothing like. But it was definitely better. Hitman stars Glen Powell as a professional killer, Gary Johnson, who breaks protocol to help a desperate woman trying to flee an abusive husband and finds himself falling for her. Now, this plot that I copy pasted is wrong entirely. The real plot is Glen Powell stars as a fake hitman who works undercover with the police to arrest people trying to put a hit out on someone, and he ends up falling for one of the clients. But yeah, so where do I begin? Glen Powell is definitely giving it his all in this movie. You can tell that he's not just an actor in this movie, but also the writer. He knows this material so damn well and he portrays it so damn well. I think this is his career best performance. The way he's able to turn into different versions of the Hitman, the Russian, Patrick Bateman, and well, Ron. Ron is one of the Hitman personas that Gary makes up. And oh my god, do I want to be like Ron for the rest of my life. Ron is the complete opposite of Gary in this movie. He's confident, clever, smooth, etc. etc. Now, Glenn Powell really wanted to show how smooth he could be when he was writing the script. Ron is everything Gary ever hopes to be. I want to get back to that in just a while. Adria Arjona plays the love interest in this film, and she's the client that Gary slash Ron falls for. Now, she gives a charming performance as well. She balances this fine line in the movie where at one point you feel sympathy for her, and in the next you feel terrified of her and you want someone to call the cops on her. And I think a huge part of the charm of the film lies in this performance. You never know if she's telling the truth or not. By the end, you start doubting everything she does. It feels as if everything she ever does has a motive behind it, which isn't always good or legal. When you rewatch the film, you can see the little nuances that she gives in her performance. That makes me even more suspicious of her. Austin Amelio is the main antagonist of this movie. He's the guy who figures it all out and starts sort of blackmailing Gary slash Ron. He does a pretty good job in the movie as well. You can tell that the guy thinks of booze like 80% of the time. But I found him a huge centerpiece as well, especially in the latter half of the movie. As per the rest of the characters, I couldn't care any less for them. I mean, they were serviceable at best, and that's really the best compliment I could give them. Now, one issue that I have with this film is the comedy of it. I don't think the jokes land like 90% of the time. But it could also be because I'm just a robot. Apart from that, the movie is just pretty amazing. It starts off a little slow, but when it gets going, this movie just doesn't stop. Especially when Madison, portrayed by Adria, shows up. Glen Powell and her have this amazing chemistry that just instantly puts a smile on your face, and you do feel as if you're watching a rom com at that time. Now, where this works best is that you know the underlying tensions of this romance. It's really clever in the way it puts you in the character's shoes. The first time you ever watch the film, you sort of watch it through Ron's perspective. And then when you rewatch the film, you'll find the POV of Madison then, which is just amazing. Spoilers alert, Ron and Madison meet at this coffee shop where Ron is basically there to get her arrested. Then you feel like Gary slash Ron does. You understand this girl in front of you is just scared. The way she acts, as if she hasn't had any real food in so long, and you feel sympathy for her. When you rewatch the film, you see the cracks there, like who the hell even acts like that? Like it all starts feeling fabricated. Another great instance is when she buys the weapon. Now, being in Glenn's shoes, we understand that it's a dangerous situation. When rewatching it, you sort of understand that maybe this girl has just bought the gun to off her husband, which is crazy to me. Now, the film is filled with these amazing scenes that only get better when you rewatch them. But there is one scene in the film which I haven't experienced like before. The true definition of being in your character's shoes is shown here. I think majority people who have seen the film know what scene I'm talking about. That scene is when Ron and Madison are coming back from clubbing and they encounter Madison's husband. You can actually feel that Ron is scared. We feel scared. We also feel that Madison is expecting us to do some badass thing. But inside we know that we are scared. Our character is just a mask. We don't know how to confront an aggressive man. We feel him. And we are thinking in our head like the character is. What can we do? What can we do? And when Ron pulls the gun, you understand that is exactly what you would have done too. Now you know you can't pull the trigger, but you also know you can't put the gun down. You have to keep that mask on and off at the same time. It was just one of the masterclass scenes that should be taught in film schools. Another great thing I witnessed in the movie is that it works great as a self-help movie sort of. It shows you how if you fake it, then you might just make it. The way Gary, the underconfident loser, slow guy, turns into Ron, the confident winner, smooth, and an overall badass. So this film does teach us a lot too. I do think this film could have made a pretty good amount of money had it been released in theaters. What can we do? It's Netflix's world, unfortunately. Overall, I thought this movie was a pretty huge surprise, considering it was a Netflix movie. So I definitely recommend this to anyone who's looking for something new to watch or someone who was thinking of rewatching the movie. Thanks, and see you in the next one.